It is 8:14. Welcome back. A federal judge says the Trump administration must restore slavery-related exhibits at a national park in Philadelphia. The judge, who was appointed by George W. Bush, said the move was, quote, an attack on truth itself. However, President Trump said exhibits like that one bring a sense of national shame. Justice Department lawyers argue that the federal government has the right to express its views on such subjects.
So joining us now is our chief legal analyst, Khalif Rhodes. This isn't just happening at this one spot in Philadelphia. This has kind of been happening at different national parks. So what do you make of this judge's ruling on this?
Well, if you've been following at home, the writing was on the wall, pun intended. March 25th, President Trump signs an executive order stating that they want to look out and look for anti-American ideology at the Smithsonian. Trump condemns civil rights and slavery in August, criticizing it, calling it excessive on how bad all of these locations make slavery look. New York Times interview, he said after the passage of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, a lot of bad policies were created. And so this was just the next logical step after making statements like that and directing individuals to go and find things that he believes were anti-American. So yeah, this is happening in a number of places. Just here in Pennsylvania and in Philadelphia specifically, they decided to bring a lawsuit to stop that. And the judge listed a number of things. It's a 40-page opinion. Judge Roof said a couple of things. And two parts, I'd say. First, being from Philadelphia, love the fact that my city gets an opportunity to be mentioned here. But she says that it claims in regards that echoing Big Brother's domain in Orwell's 1984, that the government alone has the power to erase, alter, remove, and hide historical accounts on taxpayer and local government funded monuments within its control. And then at the end, she says it does not. So she lists out a number of Orwellian type of statements and then contradicts those statements that the government attempts to make by saying that, no, we have a checks and balances of the three co-equal branches, and you don't have the power alone to remove these things.
Khalif, the National Park Services, which is a federal agency, they've got, I guess, discretion, if you will, when it comes to interpretation of historical documents, exhibits, especially when it comes to something as sensitive as slavery, right? They're allowed a little leeway when it comes to discretion. Where's that fine line, though, between using discretion with something as sensitive as this and something that's unlawful?
I think the best way is looking at the judge's order. I say it all the time. Judges speak through their orders. So this is the best statement, and I have it bold here. As in, if the Ministry of Truth in Orwell's 1984 now existed with this model of ignorance is truth, the court is now asked to determine whether the federal government has the power it claims to disassemble and disassemble historical truths. So to alter, to remove, and to replace, those are what the judge is saying you don't have the power to do. Now, can you put something up there to be able to explain what you believe is different than what those reports are saying? But what you can't do is to remove it. What you can't do is say this can't be here, specifically things that Congress has funded to be there. And that's, I think, is going to be the larger issue. If Congress has appropriated funds for this to be built, and then you're saying now as the executive, I can just remove it, well, it undercuts the whole funding process from Congress. Because then if one individual can say I can remove this, then the whole congressional funding process is irrelevant.
Where do you see this going? Do you see an appeal here?
Oh, most definitely.
Okay.
I mean, the Trump administration will ultimately appeal this.
What would that look like?
It would look like we have the authority, and the appeals are intentional. If I can get the Supreme Court to address this concern, it's what I've been saying since this Trump administration has taken place, that these are all attempts to try and to see how far the court will allow the executive branch to be stretched. And so if I have a lower court, it's a U.S. District Court, but a lower court rule against me, that's what I want. I want to be able to go and appeal this to a court of appeals. And if they rule against me, even better, because now I can get this matter in front of the Supreme Court, and then it can be codified. It can go in front of the largest court, because now if they can say, I have the power to do this, no smaller court can say anything against that. So those have been the challenges throughout this administration, and successful. The Trump administration has lost on the lower court. kind of 50-50 in the middle in appeals, but at the Supreme Court level, they have been extremely successful at getting the executive branch's power to be expanded. And so I think this is another, I mean, if we're looking 2 or 3 years down the road, when it fully plays out, I think that's how it ends. But right now, this is an injunction. You guys know the standard: likelihood of success from the marriage, irreparable harm, balancing of the equities, public policy. This is an easy win in district court for an injunction. You can't fix money and say, hey, a kid didn't get to see that exhibit today, so hey, we got to put it up while we deal with the underlying issue. And that's what the judge said.
All right, so we'll keep an eye on that, obviously, as those appeals are likely to come in. Our chief legal analyst, Colleen Rhodes, thank you.
Queen City News Plus. Just search Queen City News on your smart TV's app store.